Everyone, thank you so much for making the time to be here with us, to join us on the fun and on learning about this great nutrition program that is literally transforming lives. So today, Narissa, my friend, is being gracious enough to help me host, to talk about the nutrition program. And then after that, we're going to hear some testimonials. And then Narissa is going to mention my referral program. So if you have any questions, please write them down. Don't forget them. And then at the end, um, you can ask away, or there's also the chat if you want to post them on the chat. Either way, thanks again for coming. And Narissa, the floor is all yours.
All right, great. Thank you so much, January. It is such a pleasure to be here with you all tonight. Such a friendly, loving group, I can tell. And I first want to say I just have loved getting to know January. We recently took a regenerative health course together, and I think what shines through with her is she loves helping people. And it really does just make this business more gratifying for us, the fact that we get to share it with others and see people's lives change, like she mentioned. So again, thanks so much for having me here tonight. I really appreciate it. So let's chat about the 30-day nutrition reset. Let's see if it's something you would want to try, or maybe you know someone that it could benefit. It is a really simple nutrition program. It's easy to follow. The steps are all outlined for you, and it is for anyone who is looking for better sleep, less bloating, more energy. Maybe you're just looking to up-level your nutrition. It is not a diet. It is a lifestyle transformation, and that's what makes it work. It supports your immune system, and it really just helps you feel your best. The program consists of 2 meal replacements per day. So that is going to cover your breakfast and your lunch, and then you're going to have a decent dinner. And we always recommend a plant-strong dinner, just because that's going to give you the best results and have you feeling your best. Then there's also an organic tart cherry that you take in the evening or before bed. And I'll explain what all these things do. Oh, and the gut support. Let's not forget that. Let's start there. So the gut support, I have little packages, my little packages here. This is the Biomedic. And this is just 2 little veggie caps that you take per day. Really easy, really simple, but they pack a powerful punch, because this gut support is the only clinical solution for removing glyphosate. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of glyphosate or Roundup. Some have. Yeah, glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup, and it gets sprayed on all our crops, and it is in the air we breathe, it's in the water we drink, and we can't wash it off of our foods. It has been linked to a lot of conditions, cancer, autoimmune issues, gluten allergies, infertility, autism, dementia. The list continues to grow, it seems like. But the good news is that we have the Biomedic, and that removes the glyphosate from our bodies. And it also repairs the damage that's been done to our gut. We hear testimonials from people all the time dealing with bloating, leaky gut, Crohn's, colitis, diverticulitis, so many that have been helped to support their gut with this Biomedic. So that is one of a kind gut support right there. Then we have our protein. These are called Super Amino 23s. This is one of my favorites. I don't know, it's hard to pick a favorite, but this is definitely one of them. And this causes your body to burn fat and build muscle without having to work out. It was designed by a doctor whose patients were in the state of a coma, and so that their muscles wouldn't atrophy. So it has a 99.4% absorption rate, which in the protein world is unheard of. Most proteins are 14 to 23% absorption rate. So that is really fantastic. And the reason it's called Super Amino 23 is because it's absorbed into our system in 23 minutes or less. So there's no taxation on your kidneys, your liver, your digestive system. It is really easy to digest. Then the third component is our nutrition, and this is the power shake. It comes in these biodegradable packages. And this is your green shake. The Power Shake, one serving, has the equivalent of 6 superfood salads, which is really fantastic. You don't have to do any of the washing or chopping though to get that. You just add water to it in your shaker cup, shake it up and go. Some people like to add it, mix it with almond milk or any other dairy-free milk that you like. I prefer it with just ice water, shake it up and go. So simple. It's perfect for anyone with a busy schedule, anyone on the go. It makes it super convenient to get that nutrition in your body that we all need. So you're going to do that for breakfast and lunch, and then have your decent dinner. Then another one of my favorites is this cherry drink. And you can take this, you can ask January what's a great time to take it for you. You can really take it any time of day, but a lot of people like taking it in the evening or before bed. And this brings down inflammation, cleans out your liver. It's the highest naturally occurring source of melatonin. So it's really going to help you get that deep restorative sleep. And it's just, I think we all are understanding now the benefit of sleep and what it does for our body, how it's good for our immune system, our hormone balance, our mood, for recovery. Quality sleep is priceless, really. So that is fantastic. Then, you know, something I love to do with this is you can dilute it with water, but also sparkling water is a really fun, like little mocktail at night with a squirt of lime. I just love throwing that tidbit in because that's my favorite way to have it. It makes me feel special and fancy. And then last but not least is our super cleanser. And this is a parasite cleanse. And with this program, you will get a full parasite cleanse. A lot of people don't like thinking about parasites, but they are a fact of life and they affect all of us. And from time to time, it's just really beneficial for us, for our bodies, to evict them and get them out. Really, we should be doing parasite cleanse twice per year to be the most beneficial. You've probably heard, you know, people with their pets, they might do a parasite cleanse with dogs or other pets, but we never have really thought about doing it for ourselves. I know I sure didn't before I heard of this program, so it could be something new for you as well. It is a very gentle cleanse. You don't have to worry. You're not going to be running to the bathroom. People do it, you know, while they still go to work or even go on vacation. So it is very gentle. The only ones who will want to skip this portion of the program are pregnant moms or moms who are breastfeeding, because it's just a little too detoxifying for the baby, but everyone else really benefits from it. So how much does this program cost? Let's break it down. It breaks down to $12 a day. And remember, it's covering 2 meals per day. So it really does help substantially with savings on groceries. If you do takeout, essentially you could spend that on a cup of coffee nowadays. We really recommend, for the best results, doing it for 60 days, ideally 60 to 90 days in a row, because that is going to give your body time to reach the goals that you have. And then when your clothes are fitting just the right way and your energy, you just feel fantastic. And your, what was the other thing I was thinking of? Your brain fog has lifted, then you're going to switch over to our maintenance program. And that is 1 meal replacement a day. And it's super beneficial to have that maintenance program in place because it just keeps you on track. There's no backtracking from all the progress that you've made with your health goals on your health journey. So the program is called the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. January will hold your hand every step of the way. She'll put your order in for you. She's going to connect you with a fantastic Facebook support group where you're going to have recipes and testimonials. And another thing we always recommend doing is taking your pictures and measurements before you start. You don't have to share them with anyone. You don't have to tell January, but these are just for your personal use. It's really motivational to see the progress that you make when you're doing the reset. Another thing I always recommend having, but I don't have a package of it, it's in my jar already, is the zinc aid. And that is immune support. This time of year, I highly recommend having it. It is something I love to have. It is zinc, A, C, D, and E, all in one. And it's less than $40 to add that on. I don't remember the exact price, but you can get in touch with January for all those details. The other thing January is going to make sure that you're set up on, because we do this for all of our friends, we want you to have the most money savings as possible. And that is getting you set up on your smart order. That is going to lock in your 25% discount and is going to get you double points that you will use on future purchases to get discounts. And it's fantastic. It keeps you on track. Make sure you're reading your health goals. All right, now I know we had some testimonials lined up, so I'll give you all a moment to think about those. One that we heard recently that I'll share is a friend of mine, her mother. She was very skeptical to start the program. Her daughter had been asking her to do it for quite some time. It's my friend Nija, who's here tonight, her mom. She was very skeptical to start. She told her daughter no. She said she had heard of all these things before and tried other things before and nothing really worked. But something happened. Her doctor told her that she needed to contact a nephrologist and a kidney doctor. And she got a little nervous. And she said, okay, Nija, let's see if your program works. I'm going to give it a try. I'm willing to give it a try. Well, just after 30 days of being on the program, her numbers started going down and her doctor was very happy. She was very happy that she is saved from getting dialysis and having to make that call to that specialty doctor, which was really fantastic. She also suffers from lupus, insomnia, and she said that all of those things have been addressed as well. She's feeling great energy-wise. It's a really fantastic testimonial. And we hear things like that often. So I know some of you also were going to share. You can just raise your little hand, or I see Michelle. Thanks, Michelle.
Good evening, friends. Like I was introduced, my name is Michelle. I live here in Maine. I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. It's a very common illness here in New England. About 15 years ago, she was accurate in her diagnosis, but unfortunately she was inaccurate in her treatment. My treatment was very short-lived. It was 4 weeks of antibiotics. So a year later, it came back. Even worse than the first time around. I was in extreme pain, very high fever, 103 plus, very uncomfortable. I called her. She met me at her office. She treated me at this time for 8 weeks with antibiotics. Sadly, a year later, it came back with a vengeance. Not only did I have the fever and the pain, I couldn't even sit up in a chair by myself. At that point, I ended up finding myself a specialist, a Lyme literate doctor. Of course, this is 3 years after the original tick bite, so it had gone chronic by then. And he ended up treating me for a couple years with antibiotics, year and a half, and then a couple years after that with herbs to get me to a point where I had a handicap plaque card because, and I keep this card. I had a service dog that I needed to give me stability so that I could walk. If I had any external stimulation, I was in the Kingdom Hall with a lot of people talking. In the Lyme community, we call it a crash. It was a neurological issue. I was unable to process the stimulation. So more often than not, my husband ended up carrying me out of the Kingdom Hall and taking me home because I couldn't stay there for the duration of the meeting. Now, I have always considered myself to be health savvy, and I have mostly known for most of my adult life that nutrition is foundational in any health journey. If you don't give the body what it needs, it can't do what it was designed to do. I've always believed that. So I have been whole foods, plant-based for many years. I knew nutrition played a huge role. I met Carol Dacey in my volunteer work, Melissa's mom, I think maybe 4 years ago now. And she told me about Melissa. She also had chronic Lyme. She said, I want to connect you with my daughter, Melissa in California. I think she can help you. She could see that I was heading into a crash. And so I ended up telling her I had Lyme, and that furthered that conversation. I hooked up with Melissa on Instagram. but I really didn't think she had anything that she could offer me because I had already been doing nutrition. In my mind, I had been eating whole foods, plant-based, abundant nutrition for several years, and I was still handicapped, still had trouble walking, still had trouble slurring my words, still had a lot of pain issues. I really didn't think she could do anything for me. I ended up researching the company for another 2 years. And finally, one day, a year ago, this past January, I said, what have I got to lose? I'm just going to jump in with both feet. I'll do it 1 month and we'll see what happens. And it was very short time. And this is even hard for me to believe, and I experienced it, but it was a very short time that I was going, Mark, I haven't crashed. Let's try going to a Sunday meeting, see how this goes. I haven't crashed. It's been a year. I have been symptom free. I haven't had any crashes. I haven't had any pain. I haven't had any issues with slurring my words. I used to joke if I ever crashed while I was driving, I'd never be able to convince a police officer I wasn't intoxicated, because that's exactly how I acted. I couldn't walk if you paid me. I couldn't talk. I couldn't not slur my words. And so I don't know how I would have ever convinced him I wasn't intoxicated. I have had none of those issues. And that is all due to giving my body, flooding my body with this superfood nutrition. And conversely, I can't stop telling people about it.
What a beautiful share, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That is wonderful. And your results really remarkable too. Fantastic. Barbara.
There I am. Well, basically similar to everybody else. We've all been skeptical about it before we ever got started, and I did it because my daughter encouraged me to do it. And my results, I've been diabetic now for 40 years, over 40 years, really. And I'm elderly now. And I'm like, what can nutrition do to help this? What am I going to lose? Let me just give it a try and help my daughter. So that was my goal, just to help my daughter. But my results have been amazing. My blood sugar levels have now dropped down to a 5.7, which is pre-diabetic. I'm working to get it down to no diabetes. But the amazing part is the insulin level that I'm using now is so low. I have a pump, so the pump automatically just gives me a little bit of insulin several times a day. But personally, I haven't given myself insulin in a couple weeks. Maybe one time in the past 3 weeks have I given myself insulin because I needed it because of a rise in my blood sugar. So I'm just so proud about that. And the sleeping, that was always an issue. I just could never sleep. To get 5-6 hours of sleep now is amazing. I would get 2 hours at a time. That was about the limit to my sleep. And I'm just amazed at how well and how good I feel. The cravings are gone. The need for sugar is gone. There is absolutely no need. I can see it. It doesn't even bother me. I can walk away from it. Yeah, I'm really enjoying my life much better now, even though I'm old.
Thank you for sharing. That's beautiful too. I think it's so important to recognize the power of this nutrition, superfood nutrition, and really in these 2 testimonials. Did anyone else have a share? I don't want to leave anyone out. January. Oh, Carolyn, January. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go first. And I'll just share briefly that I used to struggle with migraines. For about 10 years, this was a big issue, to the point where I had to lay down because I would get nauseous. The pain was intense. Lights would bother me, like any lights. Like picture the TV box, how it has like a bright, one tiny little bright light. Mm-hmm. Just something like that small but bright would just make my pain even more intense. So I would have to just go lay down, put something over my eyes to keep everything dark, close the curtains, not move, and try to just go to sleep to kind of just not even be aware of the pain. It was that bad. And I had tried, at that point, Tylenol. It wasn't really helping. So I was like, this is not good. And then I just found another over-the-counter pill that I was like, okay, this is stronger. It's working. And that really became my thing. When I had a migraine, I knew I have to take these pills right away or it's going to get really, really bad. So I was always taking these pills because I was getting migraines 2 to 3 times a week. And I wanted to have a quality of life. I wanted to be around for my family, for my worship activities, for work. And I didn't want to feel miserable. So that was actually what I was doing just to have a normal life. And then I decided to try this nutrition program, not because of migraines, really, but it was because I just was always lacking energy. And I was eating a lot of junk food too. So I kind of knew, okay, I'm connecting the dots. You are what you eat. Okay, I feel like junk because I'm eating junk. So when my friend introduced me to this program and told me, this covers 2 meals, you're flooding your body with nutrients, with minerals, with a ton of greens, I was like, okay, well, I'll try it because I've got nothing to lose. So I tried it for energy. And within a week, I was like, wow, this is incredible. But within those 30 days toward the end, I started noticing that like if I smell someone's perfume, it didn't instantly trigger a migraine. Or if I like a bright light, if I saw a bright light, that didn't instantly trigger a migraine. So little things or stress, even stress, like any amount of stress, like bam, migraine. So and then I started noticing, like, wow, like I'm not having migraines. And then I again connected the dots and I was like, the only thing I've done differently is this program. And I was telling my husband, I was like, now that I found a solution to my problem, I don't want to let it go. I don't want to stop it. And so it's been a part of my life since then. I'm on the maintenance program which is 1 meal replacement per day. And like everybody else here who's had wonderful experiences and testimonials, I love to share it with family and friends because I've seen personally how it can change your life.
Beautiful, January. And we're so happy for you too. Migraines are another thing. And to have those triggers and not be able to get through your day, that is really rough. Carolyn, please.
Well, my introduction to Purium was merely by accident. I was visiting with a dear friend and telling her I want to lose weight. And she says, hey, try this. It's da 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 da. And of course, being the skeptic that I am, I set it on the cabinet, and for maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 months, it sat there. Then I finally moved it to the pantry where I didn't see it because I was just not ready mentally for it. One day I received a phone call from a dear friend. I had been speaking with her on and off. She lives in Washington, D.C. And she started telling me about this program she was on and how I had invited her to come to Wichita. And she says, girl, I can't even walk in the airport because she was just the inflammation in her knees, her whole body was just all messed up and she just couldn't do it. So I kind of laughed it off. And then when we chatted this one particular, maybe a month or so later, she started telling me about how she's tried this program. And she says, you won't believe it, but I can now do the stairs. I've been walking around my house. I'm no longer housebound. And her reason for changing her mindset was because she wanted to do more in her volunteer work. She did not want her health to be the reason that she couldn't give more. And now that we were back out and open and to be able to go to our kingdom halls and to go in the ministry, she wanted that to be a part of her life. So that's just why she tried it. So when she told me what it was, I said, I've seen that bag before. So I went to my pantry. Then in conversation with January, I said, isn't this the program that you do? She says, yeah. So she gave me the 411 on it. Well, again, I think I put you off for several months, but about October, a lot of things started happening in my brain because this was the time that I was going to be hitting that big 6'5" red, white, and blue card. And I was like, I am not going out like that. So I told January I wanted to get serious about my health because I didn't feel good. All my clothes were too tight. We were, again, Zoom allowed me to walk around with my zipper half done and just never have to really show myself. But now it's like, oh, we're back in public and you got to do better than this. So October 1st is when I started. And I noticed within maybe 2 weeks that my zipper on my skirt was coming up a little further each time. And then I noticed that my blouse, I could now button them without them just my sisters popping out. And so what happened was I thought, oh my goodness. So Curtis and I my husband and I really stayed focused on it. He lost maybe 10 to 15 pounds in 2 weeks. Of course, they always lose weight fast. But for me, it wasn't about the weight, it was about the inches. And I was starting to feel better about myself. And that was important. I wanted to feel better. And what happened was one day I tried on a skirt, I went to the meeting, I took it off, and I was so happy because it went all the way up. And I said, well, I wonder what size skirt was this? So I looked at it and I thought, really, surely not. So I took my glasses, put my glasses on, looked at it, and I thought, I can't believe I'm actually fitting this skirt again, because it was, I'm not gonna tell you what size it was, but it was a size that I hadn't seen for a long time, zipped all the way up. So I say all that to say that it really started making me feel better about myself. It wasn't about the outward, but it was more about the inside. Well, then I introduced it to my brother, who was always having gut issues. My brother would come over here and he was always complaining about his gut. And he was really getting so paranoid about it, because I think he thought he really had something terminal going on, because the doctors kept giving him medicine and no relief whatsoever. So I gradually started introducing him to it and just started making shakes for him and blah, blah, blah. I haven't heard him complain in 2 months about his gut issues. I haven't heard him complain about his headache. He was over the other day and he was watching football with my husband, and he says, I can't believe I haven't crossed my legs in years. So he was sitting up and he was able to cross his legs. He said, my feet, he was talking about his feet and how much better he feels. So now he's introduced it to my other brother, who's now having some health concerns. So I'm seeing the effects of it. I'm like Michelle said, you just want to talk about it so much because I honestly feel better. And I feel like it's an easy program for me to manage, because I am not a structured person, but this is easy because it's just shake and go.
Yeah, I love that. And look at the power of sharing. Sharing is caring. You were influenced by your friend, and then you've been able to help your brothers. That's beautiful. And congratulations too. We hear these amazing testimonials with different health issues or health conditions that people are dealing with. But it is like the weight loss or inches loss is really kind of icing on the cake. Maybe that's a bad analogy for this, but but it really is. So wonderful. So anyone else? I don't want to leave anybody out if they wanted to share, but we'll keep going. January is doing something very exciting for all of you who are here tonight, and she is going to have a drawing, and there will be 2 winners that will get a complimentary 30-minute Healy session with her. Everyone who's here right now will have their name entered once into the drawing, and then anyone who orders the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation that we talked about tonight with the Smart Order by Sunday night, so that's tomorrow night, will have their name entered twice into the drawing. And same for her referral program. So every time you refer someone to January and they purchase a qualifying pack along with the Smart Order, you will again get a 30-minute Healy session. Now, I don't fully understand how Healy works, but January gave me some notes so kindly, but I have felt the benefits of a Healy session. So I can attest to that 100%. So this is the Healy. Here's how it works. So we all have a bioenergetic field around us. We're bioelectric beings. When we think about our heart, our brain, our lungs, they literally send electrical signals through our nervous system to aid in pumping blood, moving, breathing, all of those things. So what the Healy is a non-invasive therapeutic tool that sends frequency to your body's energetic field and brings it back into balance, which results in just overall better health and feeling. So it's really a beautiful thing. January is going to announce the winners on her Instagram on Monday afternoon, and she'll also contact the winners personally on Monday. So this is very exciting. Thank you all for being here with us tonight. January, should I turn it back over to you? We can.
Yes, thank you so much, Narissa. Truly appreciate it, especially because my voice is not all here today, but you did wonderful. And everyone who shared your testimonials, thank you so much for sharing. I'm so, so happy for you each of you, because you're living the benefits of this nutrition program. For all of you who made the time to be here, thank you. We truly, truly appreciate it. So I will stop the recording. And if you have any questions, this is the time to ask.